Hey buds, welcome back to another Unity tutorial series. In this series, I will be showing you how to create a controllable ragdoll, just like the ones you see in Gang Beasts and Human Fall Flat. So what you see on the screen here is what I'm going to be creating throughout the series. It's a controllable ragdoll that is affected by physics, and as you can see, it's also animated. So using the left and right click, you can control its own hands, and using this you can also pick up objects. So as you can see, I can pick up this cube. I can also throw it. That clearly did not work, but yeah, this is what I'm going to be creating, and let's just jump right into it. Alright, to get started, I'm going to be creating a new Unity project, but before I do that, the version of Unity I'm using is 2019.3, so if you want to follow along, make sure you use that version. Okay, for the project I'm going to be using the universal render pipeline, so select that, and I'm just going to call it Ragdoll YT. Okay, so I've created the project, and the first thing you will need is a model. You can use any model you want, but I'm just going to be using this model that I created using simple spheres and capsules. Obviously with your own model you might have other body parts as well, but it still should work fine if you connect all the joints correctly, which I will be showing you in a bit. For my model though, the basic body parts that I have are the head, torso, stomach, hips, thighs, legs, feet, shoulders, arms, and hands. I also have these two eyes, which are underneath my head in the hierarchy. To get started on creating the actual ragdoll though, we need to add joints to our limbs. To do this, select every single bone in your ragdoll, every single one. And so just like what I have here on the left, now that I have everything selected, go to the inspector and add a configurable joint. Make sure it says configurable joint and not character joint or any other joints, because there are a lot and it's easy to get mixed up on. So just use the configurable joint, and now you will see that every single limb in your ragdoll has a configurable joint and also a rigid body. If we click play, as you can see, the limbs are clearly not connected. In fact, they're just laying around, and the model is completely broken. The reason why this is that when you go to a limb, any limb, and scroll down to your configurable joint, if you look at the connected body, you'll see that it says none. That means it's not each limb in your body is not connected to any other limb. So obviously they're just gonna fall off and be free. So to connect the limbs, we can just drag in a limb to the connected body. So as you can see, for the head, I dragged in the torso to the rigid body in connected body. That means my head is now connected to the torso. So I'm just gonna repeat this process for every limb in the body. For the torso, that will be connected to the stomach obviously. The stomach will be connected to the hips. The shoulder will be connected to the hips, the torso. So drag in torso for the shoulders. The arms will be connected to our shoulders. Make sure you got your left and rights correct too. The left shoulder is connected to, left arm is connected to left shoulder, and right arm is connected to the right shoulder. The left hand will be connected to the left arm. The right hand will be connected to the right arm. The left thigh will be connected to the hips. Same for the right thigh. And then the left leg will be connected to the left thigh. The right leg will be connected to the right thigh. The left foot will be connected to the left leg. The right foot will be connected to the right leg. Okay, now that you've connected every single joint, it should technically work now, right? Well, wrong again. There's still one more thing we have to do before all these joints will be connected. So, select all your limbs again. Go to your configurable joint, and where it says XYZ motion, you want to set to lock for all three of them. Make sure you don't lock the angular motions because we do want our limbs to rotate. Okay, now when we click play, there we go. So as you can see, it's not a pleasant sight because our body parts are pretty much everywhere, but they are connected. And yeah, so now let's try fixing all this mess and make sure all the body parts are in the right place. Okay, the first thing we need to do is stop the limbs from colliding with each other. To do this, we can make a collision layer. And to make a collision layer, we can go to the top right where it says layers, click on that, and then click edit layers. As you can see right now, there's built-in layers called default, transparent, visual effects, ignore raycast, water, UI. But we're gonna make a new one. So you can select user layer 8. I'm gonna just say no self collision. So any object that's in this layer won't collide with itself. So now we just need to apply this layer to our objects. So I select my limbs. As you can see, they're on layer default, but I want them to be on no self collision. So you just click on it, just click no self collision. I'm gonna change the children as well. Okay, now this won't fix it yet because we haven't specified that this is the layer where it won't collide with each other. And to specify this, go click on edit and project settings. Then we're gonna click on physics, and this is the layer collision matrix down here. And as you can see right now, no self collision is going to collide with no self collision. So if we uncheck this, the objects in this layer won't collide with itself. Now if we go back, click play, you can see it is a bit better than what we saw before. It's just our limbs are just flowing around and aren't connected exactly at the right place. Okay, so the next step to fix our ragdoll is to change the anchor points for each of our limbs. The anchor point is basically a rotation point. So for example, if you look at your arms in real life, your arm's rotation point is at the elbow. Your head's rotation point is at the neck. So we need to configure for each of our limbs. So if we select our head, if you haven't modified the anchor yet, it should be at 0.5. By the way, your anchor is at the configurable joint, 3 steps down. It's a vector 3. So if you look at your head in the scene view, as you can see, you can barely see a small yellow arrow. That's where the anchor is. But obviously, the rotation point should not be above your head. It should be at the neck area. Fix this, we can just reduce the anchor and just watch it go down until you find the neck area. So for most models, that's probably what you're gonna do. But for my game, I'm just gonna set it at 0 because I don't want my head to rotate around a specific point. I just want it to rotate around the center like normal. The only limbs that do have a certain rotation point for my model are the arms and legs. So for my left arm, obviously the rotation point for my left arm should be where it's connected to the shoulder. So you can see that small yellow line, that's the anchor. I've set it to -1. Same for my right arm, but obviously it's 1, +1 there. And for my legs, I have it both on 1, where the thigh area is. Your model, you might have to do a little bit of experimenting, find the best anchor points for your limbs. But for my model, this is what if you are following along, then that is also what you can do. So now if we click play, see our limbs are correctly in place. So yeah, now obviously it's flipped upside down, but that's because it doesn't have a self-balancing script yet, which is what we're actually going to make in the next video. So thanks guys for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.